It's nothing to do with the animation. It's the problem that's always existed. But it shouldn't fucking matter. It's like if it as long as it's consistently deciding that there's no collision X, it shouldn't matter whether I'm 1 pixel in the wall or whatever. None of that should do anything. I guess it's as long as it's consistently checking the same space. I'm not using physics for simple collision detection. I might be lazy, but I'm not that lazy. Yes, I meant 101. I don't really even know what you mean by that, but I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. I really don't want to spend hours looking at stupid collision things again. How is it just changing state like constantly all the time? That's dumb. That's not really the root of the problem though, Bida, that's just a symptom of the problem. That's the problem. Now, the animation is changing like that because he's constantly going between air state and grounded state when he's at that wall. Not always though, every now and again it'll fly just fine, but if it's at a decimal, it's quite likely to happen. Like there it was fine, there it's not. There it was fine, there it's not, 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 and so on. Well, it's any right-hand wall when you're in the air. Any right-hand wall when you're in the air, because the collision checking is being stupid, and it doesn't make any sense really. Why? Because the checks are for the same thing. So like, it doesn't make any sense that it can find the collision below it, say, okay, go into this state, not find the collision, go into the other state, find the collision, go back to that state, and so on, like over and over. Oh, right, okay. Dum, that'll be it. I still have a round in here from earlier. That makes it inconsistent, that would cause the problem. And I still have it in here. So I got rid of those. Anywhere else? Because I mean, I intend to fix it by just like fix it by like making it so I only ever actually move in integers, and yet still be able to do like decent gradual movement and things like that. But the solution for that is more complex than I know exactly how to do right now. But that's fixed that problem anyway. Let's say having that problem didn't make any sense because like the collision should be fine as long as it's consistent. Like it's wrong by like 1 pixel now and again, but that shouldn't matter as long as it's consistent, which it is now. Because it was rounding and putting me in, and then it was unrounding and putting me out, rounding, putting me in, unrounding, putting me out, so it was causing the flicker. I don't know if I can still... Presuming that's what caused the whole getting stuck in the corner thing as well. I seem to be able to get it now. I got it pretty quickly last time, so I'm going to assume it's fixed. Right. Can't have a day without stupid collision problems, man. It's like... it's not possible. Why did they change place meeting? It was so good. So good, and now it's terrible. But it's fine, we'll... Like, thing is, that's not even just my tutorials or whatever, that the whole change the place meeting stuff is screwed. Like, everything that uses that collision logic, and it's loads of people have used it. People who've seen my tutorials have gone on to make their own tutorials and used, like, the same collision logic and things like that. And, like, it's just, like, them changing that one piece of that one function has had, like, this ripple effect on, like, how every piece of information about GameMaker shows people how to do stuff, that like it can cause them problems, and then people aren't going to know where it comes from. Yeah, I don't use round anymore. Like, that was a patch over a problem that caused more problems than it ended up really solving. So we're not rounding things, which the only consequence of that actually is that you stick your character is technically like shows a pixel in the floor or a pixel in the wall or a pixel away from the wall now and again on collision. But once you have character artwork, you never friggin' notice that anyway. It's hard to know how to game left in because I still haven't decided, like, it's kind of inconsequential in a way, but it causes problems that cause a lot of people to freak out about it. And people are like, one pixel in this wall, or whatever. Like, you know, like, Heartbeast has done his, like, Udemy course thing, and he's got, like, a platformer or whatever in that. Like, I was interested to see if he'd done anything to deal with that collision problem, and he hasn't. He's just, like, done it. He's just done the normal collision, but the thing is you don't notice because he's got character artwork and it's not squares. People notice when it's squares because you notice the 1 pixel thing being off. But as long as the collision checks is consistent, it doesn't actually change anything about the gameplay or anything. It's just technically, if you looked really closely, you might notice that everything's a pixel off. Or it's just like a pixel wrong. It doesn't actually matter. Once you have artwork or whatever, like, it literally just becomes a non-issue. Although, what's the thing with the spikes? Because... oh, how do I collide the spikes again? I actually don't know. Kill check. Ah! Okay. If I fix that now, that's also fixed the problem of standing on things getting killed. So you can be wrong, you just have to be consistently wrong, and then it doesn't matter. And think about that, actually. What just caused me out. It only occurred to me because of the solution to the previous thing. Yeah, there we go. Now I can go up there fine and trigger the little spike trap. Yeah, I probably will do that, Divitos. I agree. Someone said about holding a button to actually aim the gun, which I think could be interesting, like hold right mouse, actually aim it, and otherwise it just sort of like hops around, just to make it less distracting when you're doing like precise platforming or whatever. I don't know though. It just seems a bit extraneous, like forcing someone to hold a button whenever they want to shoot, just for that. Anyway, I need to go to the loot and get a drink, so I'll be right back. I'll put on my standard Buruba. I mean, it's not a B-related game, but still, I like that one.
I've been nearly falling over my own chair.
Yeah, game locked in. That's more or less it. But I made things a lot harder for myself by trying to actually fix that really early with a not very good fix, and ended up causing more problems than I solved. And I've been spending a lot of today, well, not too much of today, but a lot of last week solving like undoing the damage. But now the damage is mostly undone, so we shouldn't have any more problems with that. What about missed in the last 30 minutes? I don't know. What have I done in the last 30 minutes? Probably not much. Fix the super collision problem. Got a jump in a full animation now, so that's cool. I want to do the wall slide animation as well, which will be an interesting one because, like, directionally it's interesting. What happens when you do that? There's an option in, like, preferences. Oh my god, GameMaker's UI, man. I can't wait for GameMaker 2. Like, I can't wait for the better UI. Yeah, big resource tree icons. Oh yeah, I forgot about the blue thing. Oh, what was that? Oh, what's going on with the wall slide? Does the wall slide also have a stupid round collision thing? No. Yes, it does. Fuck's sake. Just when I think I've gotten rid of all of those. Wall jump walls. Wall jumps. Walls that you can wall jump off. When it decides to let you. How come it doesn't do that automatically? What's the thing there? It should do. Think about it. I'm not saying to make that slightly bigger. 34 incentive. I think it's visible again. Well, it's hard to see them. So hard that it's hard to tell if they're even like there in the spots that I think they are. But that might just be a matter of me interpolating the colours again. Let's change the colour a bit or something. Consistent if you're holding towards the wall, but if you're not, you don't always get kicked into it, which is weird. Should make it one bigger. I don't really care about 3D for GameMaker. It's the wrong direction though. I should know it's the wrong direction as well. And then if I fall onto it then it works, but like it doesn't, like the moment it gets kicked across, like it's not updating the direction to the wall's like thing. Why is that? I hate there it doesn't actually get updated here. Where does it? Oh. Interesting. Also, let me move this modify sprite behind the wall slides here. Well, that should work. Oh. Unless it's just because they're so close. Because there it works. Him turning blue is just like a temporary thing, so I could tell he was in the wall slide state, by the way. Before anyone panics. So that would work as well, which is quite cool. But here doesn't. So it just goes from one state to the other, so like it never changes his. Maybe that. Yeah, that's probably it. You know, probably goes straight because he goes straight from wall slide state to wall slide state. It never actually updates his HDR until he leaves the wall and something. I mean, I could just make him leave the state automatically whenever you jump, and that way he'll have to go back into the state. I suppose that would make sense. Could do that. I think that should work as well, like there's no reason really why it shouldn't. Why am I like slide up there, but like I lose my vertical speed instantly whenever I go right. Why is that? I don't think that's super likely, Mr. H minor, but I don't know. It doesn't do the same thing here. It only does it when you're really close. And only when you're going right. That's interesting. That implies there might still be some collision round weirdness going on somewhere. Just when you're going right, that's the time when you can be a pixel on the wall. But fucking shouldn't matter. suspicious about that. I mean, it doesn't matter, I'd rather probably just never have a tube thing like that close anyway, but it bothers me nonetheless that that can happen. Yeah, that's very true, DLZon. Like, that's a lot of the problems with games. It's like, how do we fix that? I just fucking never have that situation. Well, when the player does this exact thing in this exact shape of level, this problem happens. We don't know why. Well, just never put that in the game. Yeah. I'm talking to my brother. Everyone hates collisions. I didn't used to. Hating them. I've hated them for this project though. And it's weird 'cause it's just like one of the reasons I did was I'll do a platform because, you know, collisions are all like bare simple and that. Just not any more than that. So that animation is just not always working how it should. Let me put a breakpoint on that line. Do I remember names of your viewers, Max? Some of them. It's hard to remember all of them. So to the max. Tom Crash is saying the next time I make when two things collide, one will blow up. Yeah, that's why I did Asteroids as my first You know, when I did that series, I did that tutorial series, like your first game, that's why I did an asteroids clone for that. Because every single collision involved in asteroids, something dies. If you collide with an asteroid, you die. If a bullet collides with an asteroid, the asteroid dies. You know, it's just something hits something, then it blows up, and it's really simple. Yeah, the character turns blue when he's on wall slides. It's just a temporary thing. What was I gonna do here? Oh yeah, I want a script for circular air. Essentially, I want to break that. It's interesting. Is it only hitting that line if that's true? Let's do that. Okay, if that's working, turn off again. Get to see if that one works. Okay, I should do a separate script for doing all this animation stuff because it's like updating it a frame late always, and it's always going to do that. So yeah, what I should do, let's go into this, make STR player sprite, and then do all of the crap for. I mean, we can base it on what our state currently is, because we'll just do it at the end. And we can like switch statement it, just like we did with thingy, but then instead of like calling a different script for each one, we can just bash it into the actual switch itself. Sorry, I've missed some of these questions. Which software do I use? Yeah, GameMaker. Still nothing else through. Don't ring me. How about blocks you stand on and light up so it shows the path you took during the level? I know the blue character. Probably won't do that. So, right, those are my only two big piles of sprite modifications, aren't they? So what I need to do now is, like in here where I did this before, the switch statement. I'm just going to copy that because I can never remember how to format switch statements. I'll paste that in here, switch the state, case normal, and then just cram all that stuff in here, really. So it stops making Facebook bleepy noises, which will probably annoy everyone. Hi Vortex Sphere. I wasn't actually adding anything to a spreadsheet, call it around. 3 functionality GMS can be quite good. I'm sure it probably can, it's just like there's no good reason to use it, you know? Just use Unity, innit? Kind of self-explanatory. Oh, he says. Can I make a tutorial on making music of mobile games? I'm not the best at making music, to be honest, dude. Oh wow, okay. Oh right, yeah, nowhere actually runs this code yet. Copy. Play it now. At the end of this loop. Just do that. Nice stuff, so. Yeah, excuse me. Okay. It's still hard to tell if that bit of code is like working. Maybe if I just slow the frame rate down by like loads. Although if I do that, I don't know if that'll work how I want it to. But let's find out. No, it's much clearer to see, actually. Basically, I want to know if this animation is working fine. It might just be my eyes that looks like it's just snapping every now and again. Well, I think it is working, and it's just me going crazy. Yeah, that worked. It's working fine to me. I should reset image index when you double jump though, because that'll make it look like it's. Well, it'll just look wrong. Will that work okay with this? Okay, stays there. Yeah, because it checks the image index and then bases your speed on that, doesn't it? Right, so I can just take image index equals 0 and jam that into whenever you double jump. Where is double jump? This is the ZDS step. Oh! I thought that looked shorter than I remembered. Key jump. Yeah, I'll just cram that in there. There we go. And again, just reducing your FPS by loads, just to check your animation stuff is working, especially when you're at 60 FPS by default. It's just a good idea. That's good. It's a nice little effect that has now. You can really see that double jump. I feel like the double jumps set your speed rather than like adding to it, because otherwise, like if you're falling really fast and you double jump, like you don't actually gain like any height, you just like prevent yourself falling like a tiny amount. But at the same time, that's what allows you to do that sort of really long, thin double jump bit like there. And at the beginning of the level. Ooh. Makes playing the game a lot easier when it's this slow, actually. Whoa! That's all 60 FPS again. I think I might have it so you press a button to aim the gun, actually. Because otherwise it just looks weird, like when you're running around like and you're ignoring the mouse, because you kind of have to just to be able to focus. Like when it's like pointing there, it just looks a little strange. I could always turn that back off if it turns out shit though. So I've missed a lot of stuff. I don't know what people are talking about now. Maxo to the max. Do I have a girlfriend? Yes, somehow. Don't ask me how I pulled that off. Just programs at CLV speed with below 0. Screw. If you were even talking to me, I don't know. I don't know what people are talking about anymore. How do I turn off the little toaster things on Skype anyway? I might do that, because I think that's... Yeah, I don't just see those things. Save. Okay. How do I do the transition effect between rooms? I actually just released a tutorial on that. No surfaces needed. Oh, between rooms though. Like if you just, I don't know, if you just mean the thing whereby like you walk off the. Oh, let me hang on. Let me put that speed back. It's a 60. Like where I just walk off the edge of the screen, and I have a tutorial on that I just put out kind of recently. Sliding camera, but I can't remember. Do I even? I don't think I even have a room transition. I think I just snap it, don't I? Yeah, actual room transition. I just do. I've just snapped it, and then the camera is doing its slidey thing. But the camera slidey thing, like I have a tutorial on that, like quite recently, on my YouTube channel. But so yeah, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna say, where's the gun at? Mouse check button. Thing is, isn't keyboard the other way? Keyboard underscore check. Mouse check. But then button. That's so weird. Ugh. The right. To the Moon. It's one of my favourite games. Fair enough, Max, so it's a weird thing to judge someone on. It's not that annoying, Colbert. I like doing code to make artwork look right because it's really satisfying when it works, you know? It's more satisfying than writing all the code to make a square line up perfectly with a wall when it just doesn't matter in the long run. I want to make a big tunnel of that actually. Right, right, so now his gun just does like, it faces wherever, but if I hold the right mouse button he aims it. Ooh, but then like if I do that, like yeah, that's permanent otherwise. So all I need to do for that is just go. I think you'll find quite a lot of nerds have girlfriends, like so to the max. You know, they do reproduce. And anyway, what they nerds have boyfriends too. I don't think human relationships are limited to those without quote unquote nerdy interests. He's so crazy, Maxo. This always happens, like I look away from the stream chat and then some people start talking about some really technical problem with someone's specific thing and I've just no idea what's going on. I don't like how the player's sometimes behind walls, so I'm going to go to the wall and put their depth to 1. I like keeping the player depth at 0 and just balancing everything else around it, so I don't like to change the player depth, I'll just change everything else to match it. Now you can aim the gun when you're holding the button, and otherwise it just stays as it is. That's cool, so now you can do this, and it's kind of like much more distraction free and like makes more sense for him to hold the gun like that. How come he's turning red now and it's not showing the red square? What did I do? I did something. It's just turning red on death. I'm pretty sure he doesn't do that here. I mean, it looks better, but I never coded that. What the f- What's going on there? You should turn it to Overjoe just go die when he dies. What? Oh, because it's just keeping the alternate sprite set. Even though it's changing objects? Nah, surely not. You can change object and not change sprite if the sprite's been changed. Man, what? Since when? I didn't know that I could hang on to
Avast
that.
virus database has been updated.
Thanks, Avast. I don't think you can be in the stream and not be a nerd max to the max. I don't think that works. DLC on, I have no idea what's going on. Speaking of interest, what are mine besides game dev? I like to go climbing. Climbing's fun. I suppose specifically bouldering. Haven't done it recently because I've not been very well, but I like doing that. I have no idea why that is, Divitas, because I never remember setting my voice for Avast. I'm not going to roll with it, Bida, because I don't understand why it's happening. And if that works how I think it works now, that if you change the sprite of your thing, and then you change object, how on earth did I not run into loads of crazy problems with the way I coded another perspective? Because like I use instance change all the time and changed into like things that had specific sprites set, and then when those sprites finished their animation they would do stuff. I don't know, man. Don't understand. Oh, is it because it's doing instance change and then still finishing the rest of the code? What's instance change with? You can use this function to change one instance of an object into another instance of an object. While doing so, decide whether to perform the initial instance's destroy event and the new instance's create event. And this way you can have, for example, a bomb change into an explosion, in which case the perf argument would probably be true, as you would want the bomb to perform its destroy event as well as the explosion to perform its create event. Or you could have your player character change into a different one, in which case the perf argument would probably be false, so you do not want the instance to perform the create and destroy event. It's worth noting that the instance changing the instance means that you should perform no further actions with that instance until the next step, in particular trying to access variables, etc., as that will cause an error. Basically you change the instance, but it's not actually available until the end of the current step. So access to any of the variables it contains directly, for example calling obj underscore change.x, will not work. Well, I didn't get any errors thrown at me doing this. That's really weird. Where do I call kill check? Just at the end of the step. There, and then now, right, okay, so it was at the end of everything before. Let me cut this out of the states thing, 'cause I don't think it needs to be in here anyway. I know why I put it in the states, but I don't think it needs to be in those. And then let's go into... Whoa, I didn't mean to move that around. Alexander Cox 56, thank you for following. You guys. Alright. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's the plan. Are we all ready for the plan? Why do I have a draw GUI step for the player? Oh, right, drawing is Right, okay. Sure. I'm just gonna do that there. Oh, you're not even getting the lyrics right, Smooth Dog. So you got vomit on your sweater already, Mom Spaghetti. You got it all wrong. I would at the most, but it kind of depends really on what it is you're trying to do. Like, if you've no interest in making 2D games at all and like want to, like, all of your stuff with you want to do making games as 3D, then go ahead and jump into Unity. I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't just start with Unity. I think it would probably be a bit more intimidating. God, yeah, I don't know. My recommendations for people always generally change based on their circumstances. Right, okay, so now you turn back into that thing, so that's good. Because it makes sense. I'm just blushing, I don't think I am. I just have very red skin, typically. It's kind of manky skin, really. Yeah, it's very in-depth that you put your mind to it. But again, depends. Depends what you want to do. If you want to do anything with 3D, I would not recommend GameMaker. There's just no point. Yeah, it can do it. Yeah, it can even sometimes do it well. But why would you want to, you know? Why go through all the effort to do 3D well in GameMaker when you can just use Unity? Literally no point. Some from the heart. Ding. Oh, yeah, I should put my now playing thing on. So see musics. Although it's way too oversized. I'll put it like there. And then I'll do another little text thing. God, all my text looks different, it's awful. Why is it? It looks bold even though it's like not. Oh, it's because that's GeoSense light, isn't it? There we go. That'll do. It's all a bit cramped, but whatevs. I get a part of a living out of YouTube, Max Little Max. I get a living from YouTube ad revenue, Patreon supporters, and video game sales for the most part, and occasionally from extra various freelance things, freelance teaching, freelance game dev, all kinds of fun, interesting, weird things. Thank you for following, Maxo to the max. So it was addressed. Oh, is this asking about recommending a game dev tool? I think GameMaker's alright for a C# developer, but I don't know, if you're super seasoned, maybe you just want to do your own engine or whatever, I don't know. I know a lot of programmers who really like GameMaker though, so I guess. If you're looking to do 2D stuff only, there's nothing GameMaker can't do, I don't think, really. People say they run into limitations or whatever, I don't know. I'm not sure I believe them. I personally haven't thought of anything that I can't really do. Ooh, I just got a cool email that I will deal with later. Honestly, To the Moon is like 50% of the reason I even bought a piano. Like, I just want to be able to play that music. I can't yet, but that's one of the reasons I got it. I just noticed like the spikes are showing outside the walls now. Gosh darn it. That's fine though, because I raised that to 1, let's just raise all this stuff to like 2. I'll raise it higher just so there's actually a gap, so I don't have to constantly change these. There we go. Actually close down some of these windows because I know what I'm like, and there'll be a million of these windows open now. So I don't close things when I'm moving to another thing, I just click on the next thing I want to edit. So like all the windows always stay open, and I just end up with a million open. And it's annoying because you can't really tell that that's a thing, or that that's happening until it's like, GameMaker's running really slowly, I wonder why. Well, you've got like a friggin' 2 million windows open, so there's that. Yeah, that's the thing with doing 2D in Unity, even though, like, I kept getting excited every time they were all on about, oh yeah, native 2D in Unity now and stuff, but it's still not really. It's like, you're still using, because it's still the same engine, and it's still a 3D engine at heart, and it's like, you're still kind of tricking it into being 2D. That said, I've seen people who've made it pretty damn convincing, and like, they've made very, very legit looking 2D games with very pixel perfect looking stuff going on in it, and so that's cool, but it seems like harder to set up, whereas here you just kind of, you have it. What am I going to do now? I want wall sliding stuff, really. I also want to do this because I think it'd be funny. Also, I can go ahead and delete, well, not delete, make thingy invisible, the wall jump area. I can. And then also turn interpolation back on. Boom. Oh, I just can't reach there. You can this slide, I think. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Just need animated the stuff for it now, really. Your own game engine and assembly. I should use a line, really. I don't know what to do with this with the foot, really. I'm gonna go put it like... something like almost like you're ready to jump away. Spawn. Beautiful. Gonna have want to be the other way, actually, isn't it? It's gonna be like that. 11, 18, 26. Yeah, that should be fine. Slide, I guess. don't want it to contradict with walk. I mean, it'd be like wall and be really close to it. Not a big deal though. High encoding CPU usage. Damn. Not dropped any frames though yet. To show an artwork. It is vector. Yeah, it's exactly what Tinhammer said. Like, I'm using Flash, drawing things, because then I can like resize and play around with them, and it's like super easy and comfortable to work in. And then I just export it to PNG. I know GameMaker does actually support like SWIFTs and stuff like that, and it can like anti-alias them, and it looks good and it works and everything. I've just never really used it before, so I wasn't super comfortable doing it. Something I want to try in the future though. Maybe I should have tried it, but like I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew initially for today. I just wanted to get artwork in that worked. Because I don't think it's that complicated, it just scares me a little. Thanks, Smooth Dog. I think they have a thing for making just stupid, cute characters. I may end up doing that to Tinhammer at some point. I don't really want to do moving platforms. That's a boring mechanic. It's just not very interesting. Like, for the amount of work, like... Oh great, I have platforms that move around now. I'll put them in my level, and then, oh cool, now there's a bit on my level. Or I have to wait for a platform to move to the right place, and then jump on it. And the jumping is mildly more difficult because the thing moves, but okay, now I've landed on it, and now I just wait. I mean, they're not entirely uninteresting, but like, they're just not... I mean, like, I suppose you could have a thing like goes down a corridor and then the spikes and you don't have an infinite amount of time to think about how to jump over things and so on. And that can be interesting, but even then it's like, you know, unless you're doing something where the platform also carries along your momentum, so that when you jump you like kind of like you do that as opposed to like you jump and then like that happens and so on. I don't know. I'm not a fan of moving platforms in platformers. Like, so many requests to do like vertical moving platforms for platformers as a tutorial, and I'm just like, why? Why do people want this? People are gonna, because it's part of your growth as a developer. Like, you want to do it, and then you'll do it, and then you'll realize that it sucks, and then you'll go do something else. But then it's like, oh, you wasted all your time learning how to do it, you know? Yeah, they did. They weren't that interesting. IMO. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me they're not very interesting from a design perspective, and they are work. So it's just like, it's a lot of work for not much payoff, in my opinion. I may have them to some simple capacity at some point later, but like, I don't know. Just like when you really, like, I don't know, you really think about it. It's like people requesting enemies and platformers and complex enemy AI and stuff, and I'm just like, why? Most AI things in platformers are really simple, you know? Have you ever really played a platform with super complex artificial intelligence? Like, ever? Like, when you actually really think about what the enemies do in platform games, has it ever really been super complex? And when you realize, no, it hasn't, there's good reason for that. You know? And it's not just because it's easier to code things that are not complex, it's the complex, simpler AIs that are just better. I don't know what that game is, Monolithic. Anyway, what on earth was I doing? Wall, oh yeah, the wall slide animate. Wall slide animation. Is it as simple as saying K states? What are my states again? The whole point of Zeno was so I didn't have to. Oh, wall slide, yeah. Gonna know if it was wall or just wall slide. I was pretty sure it was wall slide. Now I'm definitely sure it's wall slide. So inconsistent. I'm a bad programmer. Goomba's super smart. I haven't personally on Gamer, but they're very simple to do. Well, actually, I don't think they are that simple to do, I suppose, because you want them to be slightly inaccurate, really. But no, that would be, I don't think that would be a big deal. Because you want them to, like, not just move directly towards where you are. You'd want them to, like, turn towards where you are, you know, and, like, so that you could, if you move fast enough, you can avoid them type thing, you know. It's typically the thing with homing missiles. Yeah, and it's just because monolithic and, like, platformers themselves are a simplification of real-world movement and physics, right? So it's taking the idea of a person who can run around and jump and do things, boiling that down into 2 dimensions, okay? So when you put anything in that game, it's inherently a kind of simplification of something else, generally. So, like, doing, like, super complicated platformer AI in, like, an environment of, like, I don't know, AI that's just, like, knows how to run around. First of all, it's hard to even intuit in your head what that even means. But, like, secondly, like, doing a thing where, like, a guy, like, runs around, like, takes cover behind things and, like, tries to, like, outflank you or whatever or something in, like, a platforming environment is, like, not inherently bad by any means. Could be really cool, but it's just not in line with what most people are actually trying to accomplish, you know. Like, it's a very specific thing. Like, most people are after something that presents, like, a simple movement or, like, reflex challenge. And if that's the case, your enemy kind of actually needs to be really predictable. And that's why, like, in Spelunky, you've got, like, enemies like the bat. It's just a bat and it just flies down at you, right? So you can lure it down and then jump on top of it and kill it. Or, like, the spider things that just, like, sort of jump towards you. Like, everything in that game is super, super simple. Those snakes that just kind of walk back and forwards. Every now and again they stop and shoot a thing. Who do I get to produce the audio for my games? Music, I have a friend who helps now and again, otherwise I can kind of do music, but not very well. Audio I just generally do myself. Like sound effects and things. Using programs like VFXR or just sometimes my mouth and a microphone and audio editing software. That might just work, so I'm gonna do that. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Forgetting a break statement for one, but that shouldn't matter because it's the last one. Oh, and he still turns blue. Right, we'll make him not turn blue. We'll put the break in. What makes him not blue when he's not that? Do I have like... I'm guessing I have that in the start of the player step? No, why do I do that? Why do I set him to not be that? Is it just when he left the wall slide state? No? Huh. Yeah, just in there. So if he went from wall slide to ground, he would stay blue in theory. That's interesting. I just never had that set up to be possible because I've never had wall slide objects touching the ground. I should probably test that at some point. I don't think it would cause any problems, but... Ha, that's cool. Play a game for me, so I want to take it. I'm alright, I don't need to take a break. Yo, shoutouts to Transform Ice though. I feel like I want to make my own Transform Ice. That would be sick. But I don't know. I don't think I'm prepared for mass multiplayer platforming yet. Oh, I just need to mute another. Wow, that's quite a cool GIF. I'm gonna put that on the screen while I go and fill up my drink again. So let's all just watch that. Be right back. Oh, it kind of covers it up, doesn't it? I'll just leave that on. I don't even know what game that is, I just thought it looked fucking hilarious, someone linked me it. Have I ever attempted to use Unity 3D? Yeah. Not gone super far with it, but I think it's really cool. Just never had the time to really do a lot in it. I'm not drinking Mountain Dew, I'm drinking milkshake. The music works. Yeah. Oh, if I didn't think people would eventually get sick of it, I would just have this song on forever. Right, I need to sort out the gun for this thing now. Red Sky 101, thank you for following. Because I'm much appreciated. Right, so what I want to do with this gun, I want to actually have a separate sprite, well, a separate frame more than a separate sprite, where, give me a gun. There we go, that's perfect actually. Let's export that. Nah, over them. Is that the same as this? 3612, 3613. Slightly taller? Why is it taller? That's weird. How is it not exactly the same? 6.7. Well, let's grab this. Oh, I've just pasted it into the same sprite. That was not what I wanted. Let's do that. Interesting. Just come out different. Maybe I differently sized it in the first place. Although that's fine, I could just make it, if I wanted to make it perfect, I can just do this. He says. Just load like gun 1, gun 2 like that, and then if I crop that, that should be like, yeah, just perfectly removes the hand like that. Okay. I'm gonna go with 6.7 and hope it's still like correct. Looks correct. First of all, let's check. Create speed 0 and image 0, just to be safe. Ooh, it's weird sometimes. It's actually possible to hit that and be facing the wrong way. That's really weird though, it really shouldn't be like that. Ever. So I know she stick into the wall a little with that, which is kind of a shame. I just well, I could fix that by making the collision a bit fatter, I guess. So that should never happen though. Because the transition to the wall slide state in the first place should fix your HDR. Because it does this. The water barrier is centered, so yeah. You're jumping up from here, and things there. Your X should be whatever lower than this. So when you take that and minus that should be minus, so your HDIS would be -1. State wall slide. And then your sprite is handled by fresh sprite. Ah, that'll be it then. Well, because it's never getting set otherwise. So let me do that. That should fix this. The H2 is probably right, it's just not actually adjusting image X scale. Which I've noticed I do in all of these scripts and probably could just do it separate, but... Ah, what? How does that still not work? That's dumb. And also, why am I not just setting... Oh yeah, I know why I'm not saying this, because it's... Well, I want to just say... This is easier. Yeah, that's better. As a line, but... Put that... There. And also here. Strange. That are strange. Debug time. Wow, even from there? Wait, is it just doing it everywhere wrong? Yeah, it's just everywhere is wrong. Okay. Why? Have I got the things the wrong way around? It's not what it is. Oh yeah, because I'm facing away from... Yeah. Hiya, Bowling Gamer. Okay. I feel like this distance will be best. This last week wasn't really a big thing though. I wasn't very well, so I didn't stream for very long, and I mostly just did these slopes that we've got going on in here, and stressed out over stupid collision issues that don't matter. It's like 3 hours or something, like I didn't stream for super long. Image index. Do 1 else image index equals 0. I'm doing nothing. Not last week. Last week I solved the issue by doing by putting a +1 on something. It looks weird, it looks like he's putting the wrong hand of the X, it's like it's his backhand. And for it to be the other arm, like the gun would need to stretch out further than it does. I feel like I'm gonna regret all of this, but we'll find out. Shadow stats are sex tricky. Oh, Stalag Fluck DLC on. I think I'm still in that one at the moment. I don't know, it seems almost kind of jarring for it to suddenly become near that. And Let's just try that. Nice, by speedruns. What category was that? Yeah, it still looks decent like that, I think, without changing the depth. Now I want to see what the hell happens if you do this. Oh, no death mode. Yeah, it's no way to actually move from wall slide to grounded. I mean, I don't think I have that situation in the game, but might be worth looking into a simple fix for it. Anyway, be right back again, I need to leave. Oops. There we go. Oh, the game of the escapist is not a waste of time. It's fucking amazing. I'm a big fan of that game. Game I've been rinsing most of the moment's probably been Sunless Sea though, got quite into that, it's pretty cool. What's that? What's that? Why did I leave my phone? Oh, hold on. Yeah, sure, go ahead, dude. I don't know. I think that's sort of like the point though. think I see what you mean, but I don't know, I really like this idea of this. Thought here even existed. Yeah, you can do, dude. Go ahead. It's like I've got no gun on this level, that's interesting. It's like we just got no hands. With no arms and no gun. Well, except when I'm sliding at a wall, then I have one hand. Hello, Zara. CZ. Zara. Devil. Hi, Devil. Thank you for following. Oh, that's a bit of an obnoxious thing to say, Pack Sciences. It's kind of dumb and irrelevant to get caught up on what you class as a real category or real speedrunning or whatever. It's just being unwelcoming. Such a nice thing to do. Blood. Oh yeah, I was thinking about this thing. Right, how do I move from air state to ground state? We'll just do the same thing. I mean, I don't like just including any other place meeting, but there's not too many of them in here. I imagine most people don't run that category anyway because it's freaking hard. like no deaths, like you gotta not die. Which probably involves just being obnoxiously more careful than you normally would be. Although I'm actually surprised there isn't more competition for that. Unless people really don't like the glitches involved in any percent or something. Alright, so this should work now. Yeah. That's weird though, you hold in, you can't actually jump. can from there, but if you keep holding it when you land, you can't. It's kind of weird. Something to sue specifically with landing like that. I'm interested. So what's S? Scripts normal. Let's do that. Yeah, because we set. And let's just background to here. 0. Immediately, never leaves the ground. System. Huh. Oh no, that's interesting. Oh, you can get the clock, can't you? Can't remember how.